reason why there is no supply is because there is no. The only reason why they don't have any, there's no fuel out there is because there is no supply. Okay, you don't have anything to say with it.
Oh, well, I thought you were still.
No, that's it. That's all I'm saying.
So, as it stands for me, though, I am basically not surprised that we're where we are again. We've been lied to and tricked by politicians over and over and over again. One of the USPs for subsidy removal was that if they allow a free market, there will never be scarcity again. Because there's demand, supply would not be a problem. That's one of the things that they told us, because a lot of us were used to buying fuel at a subsidized rate, and it was really nice. Then suddenly President Tinubu came out of the blue and removed subsidy, and here we are. People are buying fuel in some parts of Nigeria as high as 1,000+ naira. No subsidy, no fuel, no sense, absolutely none. And I hope that this government knows what it's doing and that they will not allow a proper, organic pushback or protest by the people. It's not going to be like Shorel and his band of merry organizers think, because this doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, PMS is the lifeblood of Nigerian business. CNG proposals by the government would not be immediately effective. It takes years for them to do the transitioning from PMS to CNG. We're here for it. Some of us have said, let's go ahead with it. But the fuel that we're buying, can we make it available? People want to use their money, their hard-earned money to buy. But in fact, this current strike is one of the worst that I've experienced.
Strike?
This current scarcity. Thank you for the correction. It's one of the worst I have ever seen as a Nigerian. And it's really not nice.
Anyway, so now, due to the allegation, I'm not sure NNPCL has said anything about it yet. However, they have something else to say where the MD of the NNPCL had talked about there were allegations here and there of paying subsidy. Now, I think there's a little bit more clarification about what it does. So, according to them, the federal government gives them a fixed price that they have to sell PMS. Now, because they're the sole importer of PMS at the moment, the federal government pays NNPCL the difference, which sounds like a subsidy to me. However, they're saying that it's just a conversation between the federal government and NNPCL, and they're not paying anybody else. So what they're saying is, if you're probably bringing in fuel by yourself, there's no subsidy that you're going to get.
I said it there a couple of times without trying to sound like an alarmist, that it was obvious that based on market situations and market value, that there was no way fuel was landing in Nigeria anything below 800, 900 naira per liter. And this is a confirmation of that now, because they are now using some of the proceeds from the sale of crude and other income that the NNPCL has made to cover for this. That's what they are doing basically.
Yeah.
And that is subsidy. However, the difference is glaring, and I'm not going to gloss over it. The difference is, it's not like the situation where everybody goes to claim, oh, we brought 1 million liters in, we've not been paid, or you're supposed to pay us this. and that was the loophole there. This one now can be tracked
because there's only one person that is bringing it in.
Yeah, and their books have been audited now. The NNPCL,
Okay.
at least in the last 4 or 5 years now, their books have become,
Public.
Yeah, they become something that is not shrouded in secrecy anymore. Before, we used to wonder a lot about when it was NNPC, but now that it's NNPCL, and they're no longer regulators. So you treat them as Nigeria's own oil company. This sounds tenable, but to be honest with you, I queued up for fuel on Sunday at an NNPCL outlet in Lagos, and we bought fuel at 568 or so naira per liter. I'm not going to lie, that was the best thing that's happened in a long time when it comes to buying fuel. Because in and around us, people were selling fuel as high as 900 naira in Lagos.
Naira, yeah.
So, yes, everybody that benefits from buying fuel at that price, we really not care. Like I said again, Nigerians are not asking for too much. What they just want, is the basic necessities, and that they can, acquire these things without breaking the bank. At the end of the day, why are we still here? Why are we still talking about importing PMS? These are the real questions. Why are we still importing PMS? We have a few modular refineries that are already in operation. Where is the product from these places? We have Dangote that keeps, when Dangote says August, NNPC will say August. When Dangote now says September, NNPC will say September.
At least there's supposed to be the Port Harcourt refinery and Dangote refinery that, as of today, according to the last conversation we heard from both of them, they should have started pumping out PMS.
Yeah. So again, the thing is that if you look at when the current NNPCL leader or MD or chairman, no, not chairman now, the MD.
The MD CEO
took over.
Yeah.
He made some promises
Mm-hmm.
a couple of years ago. Sadly, we're still where we were when he took over. Now you might say, oh, there were no refineries in place then. Okay, but guess what?
They're not working.
A refinery was commissioned before President Buhari left. No PMS till today. So
anyway,
it's all some kind of terrible musical chairs that we really don't want to be a part of. Nigerians are really getting tired. Thank God that the price of food stuff is going down, even with the high cost of transportation. Thank God. But that looks like a temporary thing. Any smart government will ensure that that thing doesn't go back up.
It doesn't go back up. Now, moving on from that quickly, just wanted to talk about, put it out there that President Tinubu has sacked the NAHCON chairman that is in the EFCC net. The drama around him and the subsidy that was paid, and now he has now appointed somebody else. I think that just makes sense. Go and sort yourself out with the EFCC. Now, another thing before
the person that was appointed is very experienced in urge matters. I think he's taking this position before at the state level, and he's done a whole lot of stuff in that sector. However, it is glaring that they must have found something seriously incriminating beyond what we heard as headlines or news that is out there, that they must have found something, and that's why, while he's still under investigation, he has been sacked. And I'm wondering why, for instance, the Minister for Poverty Alleviation is not sacked. She's not reinstated. We're not hearing anything. The one that she met on the job, our predecessor, who also was investigated, we've not heard anything about it. I know that it really shouldn't take this long
if you have something
for
against
investigations.
them, yeah?
So if these people are going to be cleared, can you clear them so we'll move on? And again, that ministry is more or less needed now more than ever.
They'll say that they have permanent secretary and they have a lot of
And
people.
you've heard about what they've done in recent times.
I don't know. That's
my point.
Now, I was just going to move on from that NAHCON thing because I'm sure people that watch this thing know that for the longest of times I've always said it. I do not think pilgrimage, whether Christian, whether Muslim, whatever it is, anyone deserves any form of subsidy or deserves a commission or anything. Anybody that wants to go and apply to the embassy of the country you want to go. Maybe the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Commission can help in terms of, this number of states want, this number of people in this state, maybe help you facilitate, without any cost to the government, help you facilitate or put in a word, maybe write a letter to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so they help put in a word to the embassy, or maybe you're going to Israel, be it Mecca, be it wherever you want to go to, yeah? Help you put in a word and you get your visa, pay your, pay your travel fees, pay your hotel bills yourself, do everything yourself, go and come back on your own terms. I personally do not think that there is a need for this one, because there's also one for Christians as well. Both of them, in my opinion, should be scrapped. But what do I know? Anyway, moving on from that, what I just remembered something. However, it's not even on the headlines, but I just remembered now. I know we had talked about yesterday that the president had traveled to France. Now, there is a statement that a lot of people are now talking about, and a statement from his special advisor that went on and on and on about how Nigeria is going to save a lot of money with the new jet that was bought for the president. And I'm like, I know that things should not be shrouded in secrecy, yes. However, it looks like the sale of, or the purchase of this was shrouded in secrecy. That's one. Two, after it was bought, I read the statement of Mr. Bayo Ononuga, and it was going on and on like it was something so great that had been done. Unfortunately for him, the only things that Nigerians saw with it was, you're spending money that we don't have. Now, couldn't he have just kept quiet? Because we did know about it before anyway. And now it seemed to be like some egg in his face for him to have put out that statement. And I did not see the reason for putting out that statement. The president has gone to France. He has gone to France. Move on.
Now, there's a reason and there's a way to communicate. A lot of people would not like Mr. Ononuga, Bayo Ononuga, but the truth is, he's just doing his job at the end of the day. However, I see reason why they had to put out a statement, because it's better from them than from a lot of other media platforms. So
after it was already bought anyway,
they did not say they were not buying it.
No, they didn't say they were going to buy it.
No, they did. They actually did. That's why they put up 3 of those planes for sale. There are 3 planes on the fleet of the presidential fleet that are already put up for sale that they are trying to sell. So they did actually say that they were going to buy it. You can look it up. And they have to put it out there that this is why and this is what they bought. Because the way, the opposition media, I tag them as opposition media, the way people who have taken it upon themselves to play the role of opposition are media houses majorly. And I know that, the media is supposed to be gate watchers, but they're supposed to be extremely neutral about it so that they can praise and condemn. But these ones usually just condemn. So if they say that they didn't announce the day the plane arrived or on which flight or which bird the president took off in, it will be portrayed as something really bad. It is actually not great, in my opinion, but I'm just trying to set the facts out there. I'm actually not impressed that, it's about private jets and stuff.
Yep. When
a lot of people are just trying to buy fuel with their own money, So priorities and all. again, the trip to France is shrouded in a lot of secrecy.
A lot, too. A lot.
It's a walk, stay, whatever. Chief,
When
sir,
is he coming
Mr.
back?
President, Your
What is the
Excellency.
conversation around
Walk,
it?
stay in Abuja now. That's where you're supposed to be. Except there's something that we don't know that you probably will be telling us. That's the truth. And Nigerians, again, are not asking for too much. It would be nice if the presidency this time would help us, by just putting out the truth as at when due,
Yep.
as at when due. But honestly, the timing of the arrival of the plane too is not great. I know they didn't just buy it off the shelf, so of course they placed the order since last year or something like that. So, but it's still not great. Nigerians just want
I don't understand.
they want a working nation.
Anyway, moving on from that, now let's go to the conversations of a lot of strikes, because it looks like a lot of strikes might be coming up. First things first, ASUU has now said that they issued a fresh 21-day notice to the federal government, saying that there is a statement, there is an agreement that they had signed earlier, and this new government is not going by it, so they might go on an indefinite strike. Personally, I don't like ASUU. Now, it looks like they've been looking for an excuse to go on strike for a while. That they wanted to go on strike earlier. It was the End Bad Governance protest that they claim that they don't want to sound insensitive. Now that we are in a state in an issue where they're not going to be fighting the federal government for monies or because school fees is cheap, or now when more students can actually afford to go to these schools, now you people want to go on strike again. Yeah. I don't see the good part of what ASUU does. My own opinion. I don't want to. There might be, if there is, maybe somebody needs to explain to me. But they just look like attention seekers. And when they see that nobody has talked about ASUU in a while, they just want to share,
Okay, so according to ASUU, they're talking about an agreement from 2009 that government after government has not really fulfilled. And they're hoping that this government would, when they met with them, and they still haven't done it. And this government is 1 year old, and they were hoping that it could have been done. They're talking about some, allowances that accrue to as high as 50 billion that they should have been paid. They're talking about funding for universities. They're talking about the proliferation of private universities. They're talking about autonomy for Nigerian universities.
Isa.
Yeah.
Okay. Two things that you said.
That they are talking about.
ASUU I talked about. Number one, autonomy. I thought that the idea of the autonomy was to remove the subsidy so that they can fund themselves. Isn't that the whole point? Number two, proliferation of private universities. What is the government going to put an embargo on people that want to open universities? I don't get it. Are they supposed to say no, there are no universities if you can afford it? If NUC sees that they've ticked all the boxes, the number of thousands and millions of Nigerians that still want to go to university regardless. Are they saying that federal and state universities can cater to everybody? Because with all the thousands of children and students in these schools, that private universities are still not lacking in students. So I don't get it.
I say that if you're going to bring that into the fray, you want to discuss that. I think that ASUU should be talking about how they've checked out results from these schools and find out that they're not doing well, or how the schools are cutting corners and all of that. You understand? Those are the things that they should be talking about, but maybe there's more.
So they're saying that
they have not revealed officially, all their demands, but of course this is on on a list of stuff that they've talked about through one of their people.
Improved infrastructure, conducive and learning environments. I think those things are very vague. Because when you say improved infrastructure, what's the definition of improved infrastructure? Do you understand? Equipping of laboratories and libraries. Now, for that, that's why I said that some of those things are vague. When you say equipped, what is the standard of equipping it? Now, for you to want autonomy, if you get autonomy, shouldn't you be able? Are you not supposed to provide those things by yourself? According to them, they say that they're still getting paid by the IPPIS, even though Federal Executive Council had asked them to be removed. Maybe that won't make sense, yeah? That they're saying that there's still about 50 billion naira allowances, that there's still 3.5 months salaries that are still being owed. Like I said, when it comes to the monies that are being owed, I think that I've always said it, I think the president shot himself in the foot, because according to the court, the federal government was not owing them one kobo because they didn't come to work for it. So the minute he decided to agree and give them some of that money, it sounds like they're very entitled to every other thing. I think ASUU is really, really, really fighting a lost battle, but we'll be here.
If a government says something at the Federal Executive Council level, shouldn't it be immediate? If you say that lecturers should be allowed to be on their own payment platform and take them away from IPPIS, shouldn't it be immediate? A government that's really serious about, negotiating and getting results. You're not going to now talk from a point of strength, because now they've given you this 21-day ultimatum. Then you're now going to be scrambling. At the end of the day, it's just us going round and round and round in circles. So again, why were some of those new agreements not met?
I think some of those things, like you said, make sense. The federal government, the Ministry of Finance needs to give an explanation why there was an agreement at the Federal Executive Council for about 7-8 months ago, and nothing has still been done. There's not still been implemented. There definitely needs to be an explanation around that. Now, still talking about strikes. Another agency that is so cool and enjoys strikes a lot is NLC. Now, NLC seems to have an issue with the Nigerian Police. Because today's fight is Nigerian Police versus NLC. So this morning there was a report that the Nigerian Police had invited the NLC president about some alleged terrorism financing that was done through the NLC. Immediately after that, there was a meeting by the NLC. It was an emergency meeting, and the NLC had accused the federal government of harassing labor leaders. As usual, Amnesty International jumps on it and says that the federal government is harassing labor leaders. Now, NLC is saying that if anything happens to the president, they're going to go on a nationwide strike. Another reason why they just want to strike. That's, you've not heard. He has not even gone there. You don't even know what. He's an invitation. However, through his lawyers, he has now also come out to say that he cannot go because he was given less than 24 hours notice and he could not make it.
Well, if you look at the story of how the police were alleged to have first gone there, forcefully to, maybe cut away some document or whatever, and how, as a follow-up, the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress has been invited to come for some kind of meeting or arrest.
No, it's invitation. Invitation.
As the case may be, you know that the police must have something. Mm-hmm. Now, there's talk of financing terrorism.
Yeah.
There's talks of what's it called now?
That's basically
no. There's cyber crime too.
Okay, yeah.
There's cyber crime. I read that statement. So if you look at that, I hope, but I think I know the police will not just bring out those spurious charges, especially now that tempers are afraid and frayed nerves everywhere. Nobody wants to be caught up in crosshairs alleging something that they cannot prove. You get. And my mind went to some of these strikes and how I saw snippets of Twitter spaces that the organizer of the last protest, Mr. Showore, was part of. And there he was talking about how diaspora people they remit up to $50 billion to Nigeria. Can't they just have a meeting where they can raise about 1 million for him and his Protestant.
I saw that for the next
Protestant
protest at October 1st.
But he actually said February. Maybe it was a mistake, but we know that they're planning a protest for October 1st. And he said,
is it a job now, though? I want to just
It's always been a job for some people. I didn't say Shorel, but it's always been a job for some people.
But you just did.
I did not say that, actually.
Okay.
It's always been a job for some people. I emphasize and reiterate some people. Not afraid, but yes, I did not say that. However, the same Mr. Showore was talking about how the diaspora had sustained him at some point during one election, and that's why he's also advocating for diaspora voting, and how 6 million votes can change, an election if the diasporas are allowed to vote. And again, we keep saying it here. The diaspora that Mr. Showore is concentrating on is America and UK.
Interestingly, all everybody, even those UK and US and Canada, are you sure that everybody is voting for you?
Let's even assume that all of them will vote for him.
Okay.
The people in South Sudan and Sudan, Nigerians.
Plenty people,
There was in Ghana and all these other places. I'm not even talking about the people who have a shared heritage with us as maybe Yoruba or Ibibio or Hausa in Niger. I'm talking about Nigerians who have, crossed the borders. They're more than those ones that you're talking about in the Western world. So I always look at Shore when he says these things. I'm like, okay, let's see, Sha. But this is where I'm going with it. That it's obvious that, again, remember that during this last protest, the talks of how funds and some crypto wallets were disabled by the government, and some funds were also trapped in some accounts because those funds were sent from abroad. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's some kind of correlation between that and the Nigerian Labour Congress. Maybe.
Anyway, Sha, we will see where all the drama is going to. It's obvious that the drama is not ending anytime soon. Definitely is not ending anytime soon. But we'll see where all that drama is going to. Just wanted to put it out there. Happy Isheshe Day. Today is Isheshe Day, and in the Southwest, seems to be celebrated now in the Southwest. It's kind of like a semi-public holiday. At least for civil servants, it's a public holiday. They're not working today.
There's no semi-public holiday. Public holiday are public holiday.
No, what I mean by because private sector.
Public workers have been granted an holiday.
But regular public holidays, even private sector takes it.
By choice. Nobody's forcing them. If they let them say they want to open, will you stop them? If the bank says they want to open on Christmas Day, will you stop them?
Sure.
You won't now. It's by choice. And by choice, they are not joining this one.
Yeah.
So, it's a shagbewa, like they say, and I am particularly happy that we're allowing people practice their religion or their culture or their tradition, whatever you want to call it, because Nigeria is said to be a secular state. And if we're secular, let everybody practice. One day, the practitioners of traditional religion would also push for their own pilgrims board. One day, but hey, come on, if you can do it for this religion and that religion. You should do it for all religions.
I agree. So basically, like I said, you see a reason why I was saying it before, that nobody deserves pilgrims. Pilgrim is a want. It's not a need.
Everybody deserves pilgrims, but nobody needs the government to fund it.
It's a want. It's not a need.
The government should not be funding it. But yeah, some religions make it as part of the tenets of the religion for you to go on pilgrimage.
It's still a want
if you can afford it.
Exactly.
So, Dolupo, I'm trying to help you rephrase so that you're not caught up in some kind of whirlwind where you're saying nobody needs pilgrims.
It's not a need. It's a want. That's it. It is a want. So, it's not a need.
So you're standing on the ground when some people's religion is saying that they should go on it.
Yes, if you can afford it.
But you didn't say that right there. You didn't have it. You just stood on the point of nobody needs.
If you can afford it, also means that it's a need. It's not a want.
For your own sake, for your own good, we must respect everybody's religion and everybody's culture and tradition. And some religions are saying, this is how it should be. This is how it should be. But the pushback from me, I've now said it for years here, is that it should not be funded by government. But understanding the politics behind it, that it's just like the lever, like we say on the street, say the kind of lever you will have to do something. It's the kind of lever that Tinubu had to say he was removing subsidy and floating the naira. And supporting band A, B, C, D. All of those things are basically about removing government subsidies.
Yeah.
So, until we're able to maybe pass a law outlawing government funding for pilgrims and pilgrimage, or some fiat, maybe some executive powers are, granted the ruler or leader of Nigeria, then for as long as it sees, people will continue to be sponsored by government on pilgrimage.
Anyway.
And that's on period.
Moving on from that, now let's talk about a bit of conversations around a bit of states. Different states have different things that we're going to be talking about. So today, shout out to Adamawa state workers, as the governor has now directed a payment of 70,000 naira minimum wage for them. And I think that's good news.
Yeah, well, brick by brick, a house is built, one by one, step by step, A few governors have already indicated, some have already started paying it. Lagos State was already paying that kind of money, even if it wasn't official like that. There was the subsidy kind of thing that they were doing to bring people to that level, and now it's official. Edo State already announced it.
had announced it. So. And
one or two other states like that. Now, Katsina joining, it's actually a plus.
Adamawa.
Fintiri is Adamawa, Abi.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Adamawa joining is actually a plus because looking at the state itself, it's not one of the oil-producing states. So it must be that the governor has already taken a look at their income and their IGR and say, you know what, we should be able to do this.
So even means that if people like that can pay, a lot of people probably don't have an excuse not to pay.
So for other states like Bayelsa, that has the least number of local governments by any state in Nigeria, has the lowest population. And the highest allocation, for any state of its size and population, should not be paying the old one because they've not even started paying the 30,000.
Anyway,
and that's just crazy.
We'll see. I'm talking about Bayelsa.
Nobody's talking about.
Since you spoke about Bayelsa, we're moving on to Bayelsa, as Bayelsa has actually confirmed, is one of the few states that have confirmed a receipt of 10.8 billion naira from the federal government. There is a 570 billion naira NG Cares fund that the president had announced that they were sharing to all states. Now, Bayelsa has come out to say that they have collected their own, which is
the other states that didn't get it is stuck in transit.
Oh, okay.
You know that the bullion van that is moving
has
cash,
not reached
it's cash.
Has not reached them.
It's in traffic. It's trying to buy fuel.
Also, moving on to another oil-producing state, as protest has rocked a few communities in Akwa Ibom State over a fresh oil spill.
Yeah. These oil spills are one of the worst things that could ever happen to any community, because, you know, the effects of it, I know that the immediate past president with his vice president launched the cleanup of the Delta. We don't even have updates on that. Like, did he even start at all?
I think it did.
Have they covered X number of places?
Know when, how
Do they
far.
have a standing force in place that, you know, responds to this kind of spills? Because, again, I remember that there was a spill somewhere in America, and the then president was Obama. So it actually came down heavy on the company that owned that well. Of course, they paid heavily for it and all of that. But in Nigeria, they seem to get away with blue murder.
They definitely seem to. However, I think I was reading the news earlier today where Venezuela also had seen an oil spill. Interestingly, the issue with those ones was that the oil spill was so bad that it had now spilled into beaches.
Yeah. And this is it again. Fossil fuels and all of that is the lifeblood of many nations.
A lot.
But again, the side effects, it's not nice at all. It's not nice.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on from that, going on to other news from other states is gist from Ogun State, and that Ogun State had flagged off harvest of 200 hectares of rice plantation. So now Ogun State governor, while doing that, was now saying that they're really, really embarking on agriculture and that they're also planning to feed the nation.
I like such pronouncements of wanting to feed the nation. 200 hectares of rice planted sometime this year, I think May this year, harvested in August, and driven mainly by women and young people who were just brought into farming, and some who had been farming but had not farmed at that level. Is a beautiful thing. You're talking about how they say some of those people have 1 hectare each, and now the governor is talking about scaling this.
Yeah, to 2,000 hectares.
So from 200, and the 200 hectares street value can give you about 20,000 bags of rice or thereabout. So just picture the kind of it's 20,000 bags, right? I hope I'm not
20,000 bags.
It should be. I was reading from the governor last night. You know, I hope I'm not.
They're saying that the harvest is 1,400 metric tons of rice.
Yeah, and that's paddy. But when they bag it, it's supposed to give you X number of bags of rice. And again, remember when there's a glut, especially if you don't allow these Nigerian magicians to.
So they're saying that
it.
I think you're correct, with about 70% of the eventual yield, that when it's milled, it should actually produce about 20,000 bags.
Yeah, and that's from 200 hectares, you know, and we're looking at 70% of the paddy being milled. So what that means is that if they scale to 2,000 hectares, you know, from 20,000 bags, you might be talking about 200,000 bags. And if 200,000 bags is coming from Ogun State alone, that's rice in abundance there, you know. But it shouldn't be about rice alone, and it shouldn't be about Ogun State alone. It should also be about every governor, because we know that Nigeria is blessed. We have the landmass, we have the numbers, we have the skill. Why are we always facing this food insecurity, you know? And soilless farming and all of these other things that have been deployed now, it's showing us the way forward.
It's showing us. However, I wanted to also put out there that, rice seems to be in vogue now. We know that Lagos State has the capacity to, the rice mill, to mill this rice and all that. Now, I would like to see a system where only God knows what they do in their governors forum meetings. A system where different states are producing different things. on extremely large quantities. If maybe take for example, Ekiti State is what you're known for is farming and feeding the country yam. We know, okay, Ogun State and maybe Lagos State is producing rice. Oyo State is tomatoes and pepper. That way is so that we're not just concentrating on just one thing.
So they had a meeting, the governors of the Southwest had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and on the, under the auspices of that meeting, or on the sideline of that meeting, the commissioners of Agric also had a meeting, from the southwestern states. And of course, at that meeting, they looked at what everybody was doing and what they could tap into.
Yeah.
And of course, Lagos State stands out of these 6 southwest states. When it comes to the agricultural value chain, Lagos stands out. And of course, they've all similarly agreed to do, multi-farming projects and everything. Looking back at it, you wonder what really went wrong. Why Agric was so downplayed for just allocations from federal government. But looking at how you can use agriculture to feed your state, feed other states, and
make
make money. Do you understand? I was watching a video of my favorite governor in Nigeria, Governor Bago of Niger State, the farmer governor. How they were talking about giving some people land to farm, giving them seedlings and also some support, and that when they are ready to sell the produce of what is virtually free, that they would still buy it off them. As off-takers. And look, it's a win-win. That means that you are not going to farm now and start looking
we don't have a glut, so there will always be market for it.
Even if there's a glut, you won't be looking for a buyer because the state is saying they are going to buy, which means they have the capacity to also store. One of the things that they need to look at quickly in this agricultural value chain is the irrigation. We need to move away from seasonal farming. We need to look at what Nigeria did last year with dry season farming. And that's what we're benefiting from now. So we must move away as a matter of urgency from waiting for the rains to fall, greenhouse farming, irrigation, all of these things have to be done at scale
very quickly. Important.
Because with the way things are going, in the next 2 years, Nigeria is going to feed the rest of Africa if things continue like this. If other governors can wake up because they own the bulk of the land.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, moving on from that quickly, just wanted to put it out there that sadly from Ogun State as well, the INEC the resident electoral commissioner for INEC of the Ogun State one, the REC, slumped after a meeting that they had in Abuja. Very young man, but it's such a sad incident. Now, moving on from that, let's talk a bit of politics before we move on to international stories quickly. There's a video of the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, saying that in 2027 that the governor of Abia State is going to be from APC. Now, he's asking the governor to join him quickly, or else in 2027, he's going to be booted out. Why? Because he doesn't see why he, as a number 6 person in the state, in the country, has a governor that is not from his party in a state.
That video has caused a lot of issues. I've seen friends of mine discuss it, and they are angry that what kind of statement is this? What does it mean by that? These people don't understand anything and all of that.
It's politics.
But if you know a little bit about Governor Alex Oti, you will know that he's an APC man.
So you're saying that he's going to move? You're not saying that he might be booted out. You're saying he's probably going to move to the APC. I didn't say that.
I'm just saying that he's an APC man. You can make all your deductions.
I'm just saying that he's an APC man. However, being a smart politician, he seems to hold a lot of aces now. People seem to like him. Like, there are a lot of things that I think he can get away with because of the honeymoon period that he still has. His honeymoon period has not ended.
Yeah, it hasn't ended with his people. So you hardly hear about people criticizing him. There are some governors in the Southeast that I know because I am following the progress of Governor Soludo. I am checking on Mba in Enugu a lot, but the person that has the most hype out there, especially on social media, is Alex Otti.
I think it's understandable.
So
it is understandable.
Saying that is the only Labour Party governor and all of that. So as a smart man, if he's sure about himself, he will stay in Labour Party and still defeat the APC. It's not impossible because it is politics. And it's about perception management. It's about people seeing him as the next best thing. To fried rice, so, or bread, as the case may be, because I think it's bread that we will prefer now. We've had too much rice.
Too much rice, Abby.
But again, a lot of people are angry at the statement that was made by the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Kalu, and a lot of people are offended by it. And that's the feedback I got from some people that I was interacting with.
Interestingly.
But, it's still politics at the end of the day.
Interestingly, I see a lot of people go on off it. But am I the only one that thinks there's nothing wrong with what he said? Let's call it spade a spade. Is the Deputy Speaker. We know, okay, maybe if people don't know, people literally have to deliver their constituencies, their states, their districts and all that. You're not just given anything. When you are put in places, and this is not about ABC, it's basically politics in Nigeria and even all over the world. You can't be in some certain positions and it will just, even you yourself, even he as a person needs to stamp his authority so that he has some level of leverage in the party.
Yeah,
I don't think what he said was wrong. I don't know why people are taking it out of place. Now, the question will be,
how do you mean you don't know why people are taking it out of place or they don't like it? You think that everybody is going to see it from the APC's point of view?
I'm not even saying people seeing it from the APC's point of view. If you are angry about it, go back to your own party and make sure what he said does not happen.
Nobody is going to, at least a lot of people will not just sleep and allow themselves to be streamrolled or railroaded or kicked out of the system.
So it's a matter of action.
The thing that I see is, by some whatever freak of nature or by some natural occurrence, if this party wins again in 2027 with the same candidate and the same structures that they have, it is obvious that a Benjamin Kalu would have to have brought something to the table beyond being an Igbo man. Because it's Igbo and he's
everybody
our brother,
has to prove themselves.
Then let's give it to him as a Deputy Speaker. Then we give Speaker to this person. We give that one to that one. If they're going to come back and they get this thing, it's probably going to have to say, you know what? I brought 3 senators. Mm-hmm. I brought half of the House of Rep members and blah 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 blah. One thing that might prove to be a game changer in the grand scheme of things in Nigerian politics is the autonomy that has been granted the local governments.
Yeah,
they might actually have the say beyond the contraption that we had then when the governors were calling all the shots. Because from the look of things now, it might change.
It might. Politically, that might also change. So that's why I'm saying that there's so much to be done. The man said what he said. Make sure whatever he said, or don't let me say make sure. Do as much as possible to find out and see if maybe what he's saying is true, or you do as much as you can do to make sure what he said does not work. But however way, we all know that politics is not by mouth. So let him do what he wants to do and you do what you're doing. But I don't see how what he said is offending anybody. But what do I know? Anyway, now let's move on to a bit of international stories, as it has now been said that it's been reported that in Afghanistan, the Taliban's reforms that they have done over the past, 2 years, have now seen the destruction of 21,000 musical instruments.
let me tell you a personal story that I have. I have an Egbon. His name is Femi Oluwalano. I'm calling him out today. And of course, he's one of the people that actually put me on to music. Like, this man had a massive music collection. And because of him, I started building my own library too. Then suddenly, Bros now says he's born again and all of that. I say, congratulations. Can I have your library? You understand? Like, you won't be needing it anymore now. All this Shalaman, all these things. Michael Jackson, let me pack it away. Let me help you. He said, no, that is not good to... It's more or less like something that shouldn't be spreading. So he doesn't want to spread secular music. He's going to keep it there. Or maybe destroy it. I don't even know what he did to that collection. Now I will probably ask him. But he didn't give it to me, and I feel very bad. Like, Shibi, are you born again?
Okay.
Me, I want the music. I'm saying that the Taliban destroying the music was another stupid thing.
Okay.
They could have actually sold those things en masse online or whatever.
Yeah, probably made money off it.
And use the funds to do whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, it smacks of a lot of hypocrisy, you know, that you're destroying musical equipment. So what?
Anyway, moving on from that quickly, talking about a lot of things. In Kenya, sadly, there is someone that they had claimed to be a psychopathic serial killer who is now in the wind. He and a few other people are said to have... They were kept in a police station, and now this person who they said that had confessed to the death of over 40-something women is now on the loose again.
Okay, this is a sad one. I hope that this person is quickly reprimanded and apprehended is the word that I wanted to use. I hope he's quickly apprehended, because someone is a psychopathic killer and is now on the loose. Man.
It's very sad.
Now,
moving on from that quickly, the world's oldest person in Spain is said to have died at the age of 117. In the UK, the first £1 coins is to feature King Charles' portrait is now officially in circulation. Now, moving on from that with a bit of sports before we go. Nigeria's Victor Boniface is set to maybe receive sanctions from the German FA because they're investigating an incident of what they're calling an alleged misconduct. So in his way of celebrating a goal at his club, he had put out the middle finger.
Oh, yeah. Boniface Victor is an amazing human being, a very crazy guy. I like him. He's very, he's young and he exudes a lot of that. I hope that this doesn't dampen his spirit, because that is what his game feeds off. That is power that he brings.
Yeah, but he also needs to be careful.
Yeah. So I hope that whatever they do, if they sanction him or not, that it doesn't dampen that boisterous spirit, that positive energy that he exudes.
Do your boisterous positivity in a sane way. Thank you very much. Not insult people. Now, Real Madrid's Kylian Mbappe is said to have reported his old club PSG of unpaid wages, and the talks about it is now that if they're done investigating, this could lead to PSG being removed from playing Champions League this season. Yeah,
that's a lot of BS right there. PSG would not allow themselves to be taken out over some miserly.
So why not pay his money?
Miserly.
So why have they not paid it?
So you should chill. You should check his alert. His alert is on the way. The way some Nigerian states have not confirmed if they got one special funding. It's the same way. They should chill. These things take time. Chill. But on a serious tip, I'm shocked. I'm surprised, because PSG is rich.
It's loaded.
They have money.
Loaded.
So I say so you people also chop busy.
Anyway, said that Wolves has also made an official loan offer to Arsenal for their goalkeeper, Ramsdale.
Yeah, Ramsdale is not happy being on the bench.
Yeah,
of course.
he's been on the bench a lot. So
and Arsenal are not sleeping on that. They're already talking to another goalkeeper that is willing to sit on the bench or come in as a second goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So even if he gets to leave on loan or is sold permanently before the close of the transfer window on the 30th of August, Arsenal have already put some things in motion to replace him.
Gundogan is said to have announced his retirement from international football, so it's official. He's no longer playing for Germany.
Beyond him not playing for Germany, he probably made a dumb move going to Barcelona in the first place, and he's already begging to go back to Man City now.
Yeah,
and City want him back. That's
City
the shocking part. I'm like, Pep Guardiola must be a great guy, because some coaches will be like, nope.
Anyway, finally, before we go, a
moving.
Nigerian actor and a director, apparently, who's set to direct his second movie, he's saying that he's directing a new movie called This Is Not a Nollywood Movie.
That alone will pique the interest of a lot of people.
It's such a fantastic thing to...
It might just be some kind of gimmick, and it might work. Now, we will dig into the storyline and find out what it's really
so
about.
according to him, the video he put out, he said it's just comedy. That it's a comedy, but it's the name of the title of the movie sounds like comedy also. Anyway, so, and I think, which is interesting, I like, creativity, how we're not just doing things the same way. So it makes sense. Anyway, on that note, that is all.
Before she does that, on our list of stories also is the fact that Fireboy, is dropping his album, another album.
Yeah. Well, it's going to move on from that.
It's titled Ade Damola. A lot of people don't know that the DML in his name is Damola. Fireboy DML.
Okay, so on that note, that is all we'll be able to take today on The Boomba. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Boomba. Have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
Peace.